The house is now divided with your resident Michigan fan. Team up
The
North
good guy.
Mark
You already
Sewell.
said Michigan. You can't say Michigan and then try to double back and say, oh, no, I mean Team Up North. I mean Team Up North.
I say I mean.
I'm so sorry, Coach Day. Please forgive me.
Gross. And your resident
Forgive
Ohio
me,
State
Coach
fan.
Day.
The Ohio State University fan. See, I changed that one too.
It's very pretentious.
Josh, a.k.a. is JTG. I know both of us are definitely excited about the EA Sports college football game that's coming up.
I am, if it actually comes out. If they don't fuck it up.
Well, they've offered players $500 for their name, image, and likeness to be included in the game. And, obviously a lot of people thought that was a little rough and
It
a
is
small,
almost
little
like
pulp.
Sabotage. It's almost like you don't want the game to come out. Like, that is inviting someone to sue you all over again for this shit. You're inviting it again. Or just straight up not enter an agreement with you to use their likeness. And literally, it would take 5 players. It'd take 5 players. Caleb Williams, Jordan Travis, Blake Corum, Marvin Harrison Jr., Jaden Daniels from LSU. All 5 of those players agree not to be in the game and not have their name, their image, their likeness recreated in this football game. Who's going to buy this game?
Me.
No, you wouldn't.
Definitely would.
You buy
They
a
didn't
college
even have-
football game
They
without
didn't even
Marvin
have the
Harrison Jr. on
names
it?
in 14.
No. It doesn't, name, image, and likeness doesn't mean you can do what they did back in 2014, which is have nameless, faceless players, avatars, with the same number and the same measurables. No.
Okay.
Because that's still my likeness.
Fair.
You're still recreating me without putting my name on it.
That
you
is
can't
fair.
do that shit anymore.
That's
so
fair.
now if I don't want to be in it, number 9 for Michigan, the 6'3", 200-pound white boy, is now a 6'2", number 16, Jaden Denegal. JJ McCarthy's not on the roster anymore. So why the fuck would I buy this game?
I'm still buying it.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I said before,
I don't think casual
play-
NCAA fans are. I don't think casual EA fans are. I think you buy the games for the stars.
I play for the dynasty, right? Like I don't play online a lot, right? And I think that's basically what you're playing the game for, right? You're either
But
playing for online or you're playing
You
for
are
dynasty.
an experienced NCAA player. You know the intricacies of the game. You know the best parts in there. The common sports game fan buys it for who's on the cover. It buys it for, oh shit, I get to go on there and I get to play with my favorite player.
Well, here's the thing. I don't know, but I would think that the specific cover athlete gets a little more. I would think.
That doesn't help the situation.
But I would
You've
think
got-
that cover player would still be involved in the game, considering they're getting paid a little bit more.
Listen, man. You can do what the NCAA did, and that's avoid a revenue share like a plague to the point where now it's a free-for-all. Right?
But how do you pay every single player?
The same way Madden plays every single player. The same way 2K plays every single player that agrees to be in the game. They're not just playing, 2K's not just playing current NBA players. They're playing current NBA players from all 30 teams. And then every classic team that you see on the NBA, they're paying them players too. That's why Charles Barkley wasn't on 2K for a while. Right. I still don't think he's on 2K.
He's not.
Yeah, he's still not on 2K.
He's also not on as a personality either.
So now that actually helps your argument of, well, fuck it, if they don't want to be in it, the game will still be popular. You know why that's doable for the NBA? Because they're paying them. They're paying them something that's worth their time. Now, if you come over here and you tell these college football students, these college football athletes, right? Students too, that's fine. If that's what you want to name them, whatever. Mm-hmm. If you're going to tell them, hey, we're going to offer you $500 for this year's game if you want to have your name, image, and likeness on here. $500? Fam, Krispy Kreme Donuts down the street offered me 20 bands to make a commercial last week.
They're not doing that for every player. They're doing that for the 5 players that you mentioned. Mm-hmm. They're not doing that for the second string left tackle.
Okay. Granted, What about the programs like Nebraska? Nebraska, a middle of the road program that has a baseline, a bottom floor that you earn yearly for being on the team, not for being a star, not for making an all-conference team, an all-American team, Heisman list, none of that. For participating on the football team, a baseline of $30,000. You're offering me $500 to use my body and my face, and I'm getting $30,000 just to come through the door? Are you high? Why would you even offer this low ball and put this game in jeopardy like that? You know these kids are not going to Alabama, Georgia, LSU, Ohio State, Michigan. They are turning down those programs because those programs don't have the bag for them. You think they're going to offer up the most valuable thing they have to their name right now for $500 because you're EA Sports?
Those kids might not, but
none of the kids will, Josh, because they can make so much more.
Akron's left tackle is not.
It's going to make it so much more appealing for them to press EA for more money because they're not getting the dealership deals. Right. They're not getting Outback Steakhouse. They're not getting all that stuff.
Get this money either.
Fam, you either maximize it now when you have the chance or be stuck with $500.
I agree with that.
Okay, so what do you think they're going to do?
I don't know that it's going to be much more than $500. Right? Like, I don't know that we have that much wiggle room.
Oh, they've got plenty of wiggle room.
Say we double it.
They got plenty of wiggle room.
Say we triple it.
What did Hogwarts Legacy did $1 billion? Mm-hmm. They did $1 billion. This game will do $2 billion if they do it correctly.
It could.
It's been on for a decade. It was one of the most popular games out when it was. If Hogwarts Legacy, if a niche science fiction game based on a book can make $1 billion, this game could easily make $2 billion. If they do it right. So don't fucking tell me that $10 million is your ceiling that you can pay the players, which is the main attraction for the game.
But how do you first of all, you don't know what it's going to make before it actually.
There are projections. Yes, you absolutely do know a ballpark of what it's going to make because you had to go get money to make this shit in the first place. So you better have an idea of how much it's going to make. Mm-hmm. They know what they're sitting on. This is classic trying to rob Peter to pay Paul. They're trying to keep the money to themselves. They don't want to share it. The same way the NCAA fought sharing revenue with players for decades and ultimately ended up with the free-for-all NIL model that we have now. EA will fuck themselves out of a golden opportunity trying to lowball these players and then having major ones. You don't need large swaths, thousands of players to say they don't want to do it. Mm-hmm. The only thing you need to do is to continuously devalue your game by not having the biggest college football players in the country on them. And those will be the people who are sitting up here raising the floor of pay. Because if you're saying, all right, well, yeah, maybe JJ can walk in there and offer and get more than $500, you're damn right he is. So if JJ's making $2,000, you think I'm just going to sit up here and take my lowly ass $500 and shut my mouth?
Absolutely not.
So that's going to raise the floor that they have to pay them. So if you know that it's going to happen eventually, why are you sitting up here trying to offer these kids $500 fucking dollars?
Well, first of all,
their meal stipends at school before NIL was more than $500.
First of all, if they are negotiating, it would be so that they could probably meet somewhere.
This is not a negotiation. you are offering compensation to buy something.
Right.
Like it's not a back and forth. I tell you what I want. Mm-hmm. You want to use my face.
Sure. But to be realistic in that expectation is we can't go around and pay Marvin Harrison Jr. this and then pay that Akron student this. Right?
Sure. I don't even think that's how it works in the NFL. I don't think there's a tier system like a better player gets paid more for Madden than the other. I think it's a flat thing.
Yeah, we have to be equal. But then my question is, because there are so many more players in the NCAA, how far do we get before? Like, is the number 2,500?
And even
They're doing a lot.
I don't know, man. I know that NBA players get paid more than $500 for 2K. I know NFL players get paid more than $500 for Madden. This game is going to make comparable numbers to both of those games. There's absolutely no reason why EA can't pay them more than $500. And them trying to get them all on board with this flat rate of everybody gets $500 is going to cause a hiccup that will put the game in jeopardy, I believe.
As an advocate of players getting their money, I completely understand.
Or just fair business dealings. Like you're trying to lowball them, and it's clear. So come with a serious offer. And
but what is a serious offer?
I would have to compare it to the market that's already set by 2K and Madden. It's not like this is some foreign concept that they don't know how to do. They absolutely know how to do it. They're already doing it with professionals. So give me the model that they have. Anything else is disrespect.
But it has to be less just by virtue of the fact that there are so many more players in college football than there are in NFL or NBA.
Okay, granted. It should be proportionate, right? So we should be talking percentages then. What percentages of the overall revenue do the players get from the game? And then compare that to college football. Because now, you're right. There are so much more college football players than there are NFL players. What's going to make more money? What video game is going to make more money? In terms of video games, Madden is as close to a dead brand as you can get.
Yeah.
Don't tell me that Madden's going to out-earn college football. Are you fucking crazy?
Especially not this first year.
So, if we're talking percentages, if the NFL players are making a certain, let's say they're making 15% of the revenue over there at EA for Madden, you better believe that 10 million better go up to about 100 at least. And now we're start talking about some actual payment here, something respectable, something that you would give other athletes who didn't formally have the title of amateur next to their name.
Mm-hmm. But then what happens if the students don't like said percentage that they're getting?
Well, then it will be a case. I think it'll be a case per case basis because there is no players union right now. Yeah. Right. There's no governing body to represent them all collectively. But if they keep going this route, because like you said, they can't pay Marvin Harrison Jr. a certain amount and then come back for the other 75 kids on the roster and offer them $500. They can't do that. Because it's not the same thing as like a commercial or a sponsorship deal, right? Like if the idea is I get to use your measurables, your facial likeness, your name, your number, all on this video game. If that's the idea, then lineman number 3 on the depth chart is just as valuable as Marvin Harrison Jr. in that way. His name, his body, his measurables are the same, holds the same amount of value.
And the only one person that would be different is a cover athlete.
Exactly. Now, if your cover athletes start saying, no, you're not paying me enough and start going away from it, that's going to have a residual effect.
Yeah.
That'll have a residual effect. It behooves them to make a serious offer to all of them that they know that the most popular players will accept. If I'm Caleb Williams, why the fuck would I take a $500 check for EA to use my likeness if I'm already making millions in NIL? So I know exactly what my value is. I know what my image value is. Mm-hmm. Why the fuck would I take a $500 check from a company like EA to use it?
For a 99 rating.
Come on, man. Come on, y'all. Like, let's be real for a second, please.
That's why. 99 rating. I'll take $500 if you give me a 99 rating.
You probably have close to a 99 rating already.
Nah, the only player that's going to have a 99 is Marvin Harrison Jr.
That's bullshit.
Going into June 9th, last week we discussed, obviously, June 2nd visits. Mm-hmm. So this week, there are a few visits, obviously, coming to Ohio State and Michigan. This is where things are actually starting to heat up a little bit.
Yep. Couple ones. So Justin Scott was there, I believe.
Who you said last week was the number one defensive lineman.
Yep, number one defensive lineman in the country. I believe they had Boo Carter up this weekend.
Yeah. I think he actually limited his. I think he announced his top 4.
Yeah, and we are the last visit, boy.
I guess.
Out of Tennessee, I think he's top 5 player out of Tennessee.
Bryce West showed up.
Bryce West did come. Real quick about Tennessee. Michigan has 2 of the top 5 players out of the state of Tennessee already on the recruiting class. At Mason Curtis or they're working on 2 out of the top 5. Mm-hmm. They already have Mason Curtis committed, and now they're working on Boo Carter. Interesting thing about Boo Carter, they brought out his entire family to this visit. All right, brought his mom, brought his siblings. So I like Michigan's chances with Boo Carter, and similarly with Justin Scott, who's bringing his mother on the visit. When I hear everything about Justin Scott leaning towards Miami, it is almost always NIL. Mm-hmm. It's weather and NIL. Well, Miami weather, and they're in their NIL bag. It's never positional fit. It's never, oh man, Miami's got a really great defense that's going to develop Justin Scott. It's never, oh man, Miami really has a world-class education to offer Justin Scott. It's money. And the thing about money is it is very provocative and it is a strong lead. It doesn't really have it's like sugar. It's like sugar. It's like trans fat. It burns very hot and then it's gone. Right? There's no girth to it. There's nothing behind it. Now, bringing your mother to a top flight university, top flight football program, spend the whole weekend there talking academics, talking football, talking future after football. Those aren't all necessarily things that $100,000 up front in college are going to offer you.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. And any sensible person talking to their child at that moment is going to see that stark comparison.
Not to give Michigan any praise or anything like that, but the $100,000 option speaks more to
not
your
that
best
I have.
years.
I know that was the offer. I'm
right, or whatever money that they're offering screams. Your best years are going to be here, so take the money.
Take the money. We don't believe that you're going to do anything after this, so you might as well maximize right now. We don't believe you're going to get a degree and make $100,000 legitimately. We don't believe you're going to go to the league.
May not happen.
Yeah, make 10 times that. Yeah. We want you to take this money now because we believe you need it, is what that sounds like to me.
Yeah.
But in any case, what I'm really trying to get with that is that they got a couple big guys on campus. And that's really important to have official visits with these guys, even when it seems like it's not trending your way, because you have a chance to kind of pry open some of those doors that weren't being addressed before. Yeah. I have a hard time believing that Miami went really hard into academics. They can't. Miami's not a very good academic school.
Yeah.
I don't believe that they really went all that deep into draft prospects either, because who's going to the league from Miami's defensive line?
Not since the early 2000s.
You know what I'm saying? Like, who the hell is busting the line from Miami recently? Like if it was all the idea that, hey, you get to play in the sunshine, you get to go kick it on Miami Beach, we got some money for you, we getting better, Jason Taylor's coaching. What else could you want? Wins,
a future,
development, a degree, to actually graduate. You know what I'm saying? Like, all the other stuff that matters. If you can pitch that well while his parents are there, same thing with Boo Carter. He brought his whole family. Yeah. If you can pitch that, the idea that Michigan's going to set you up for a lifestyle even after football, that is a strong pull. So, like, I definitely like our chances with Boo Carter. I like the fact that Justin Scott, even though he's been trending towards Miami this entire time, actually kept his visit to come to Michigan, because at least you have a puncher's chance at that point.
Yeah.
Crazy prediction. They don't get Brian Robinson, but they land one either out of Justin Scott or Boo Carter.
Which is somebody they weren't supposed to get.
Yeah, somebody they weren't supposed to get. So I think it's a trade-off. I think Brian, if he's going to decide in July, I think we may already have 4 edges by then. Which is crazy to say, but I think we may already have 4 edges by July. Jacob Smith is committing at the end of this month. We got Elias Rudolph, which was another guy who was coming in this weekend out of Deerfield, Florida, where your boy Shoelace is from. You know that man? Pew! Fastest man in college football. Pew!
Yikes.
Yeah. So Elias Rudolph. You've got who did I just name? Jacob Smith, brother of Gerard Smith, who's already committed, twin brother. So I mean that's pretty tight. They do have a crystal ball prediction for Darian Mayo. Big hoss, 6'7", 250. And then they're still shooting at some of the guys like what is his name? Nichols. Arian Nichols. I don't know what the line is on Dylan Stewart. Are y'all still talking to Dylan Stewart? I haven't heard anything about Dylan Stewart in months, so that must be super dead.
I think he might have visited. Did he visit? No.
He visited Michigan in the spring, but I didn't hear anything after that again.
I can't remember if he visited last week or he's going to visit. Hang on, just a second.
Yeah, but I think it's very possible by the time that Brian Robinson is actually ready to commit, we'll already have 4 edges. I have a hard time thinking that, like, all things equal, he would choose Kentucky over Michigan, but he wants to be on his own time to decide that, which is fine. But man, we filling up, dog. And then if we get one of those unexpected turns, let's say we fuck around and get Justin Scott and Boo Carter. Okay, well, we may not be taking 4 edges now.
Yeah.
So I don't know. You wait, you might miss out.
Agreed. Dylan Stewart is visiting us next week. So it seems that, at least as of now, it's between us and Bama, but we'll see.
See how that happens.
So for us, this week was more of a getting the guys who have already committed in for an official visit. Obviously Jeremiah Smith, but from there, James Peoples,
Jeremiah Smith
Moore.
Going to Athens, boy. That boy been jet set.
Okay.
Gainesville, Athens. You going out to Southern Cal too?
Anyway, Garrett Stover, Devontae and Deontay, the twin linemen.
Garrett Stover.
Darian Mayo was Garrett Stover, yeah. Cade Stover's kid cousin.
Okay, Cade Stover is okay.
Yeah.
I just heard Stover. I was like, why did your current tight end come on a recruiting visit?
Well, Garrett Stover plays linebacker.
Oh.
Yeah. And then Devontae and Deontay Armstrong, the twin linemen. I didn't realize Darian Mayo is actually visiting us this week as well. I look at it as, hopefully, we got a lot of guys who have already committed. They have their reasons for committing. Hopefully they can talk some of these guys into it. I'm not, putting all my eggs in a basket of hoping that actually does happen, but we've got Brandon Baker, who is best tackle in out there right now, who seems to be a strong possibility for Oregon. Also looking at Georgia, also looking at, I don't think it was USC. Or maybe it was USC. Looking at a couple of different places, but it seems like, especially now that Dylan's not there, that he's not really considering Ohio State, but he kept his visit. So again, I'm hoping that, especially with a lot of the linemen that we have out there, the twins, Ian Moore, some of these players, hopefully they can explain their reasoning for committing, and then also kind of sway him at least a little bit. Like, at least we can give ourselves, like you said, a fighting chance to swing Brandon Baker.
I said this off camera, but if you want to go play Pac-12 football right now, God bless you. God bless you. Go. Please. Please. Do that. If your mentality right now is, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go play in the Big 12, and it's not going to be USC or UCLA.
Pac-12.
What I call them, the Big 12? They about to be a Big 12. No, wait, never mind. They might end up being Big 12. I'll just put it all together.
Yikes.
They might as well. Shit, fuck it. Make your own.
I saw a rumor that Colorado and some other team was going to the Big 12, and I'm like, we'll see.
They might as well just make a super conference between the Big 12.
Or they can all just get eaten up into the two soon-to-be super conferences.
I don't like that. That sounds like AFC, NFC. I thought everybody hated that.
It does. No, I do.
And we're getting ready to talk
but
about scheduling, but I could have sworn everybody hated college football looking like NFL.
I do.
Anyways.
It almost seems inevitable, though.
Anyway, if you really, really like want to go play pack football and you think that, okay, all right, well, I don't think you were really cut out for this action over here anyway. Yeah. So, yeah, go have fun. Enjoy.
You're not going to be playing against many defenses, so maybe that's the appeal.
Tell Bo Nix I said, what's up?
Yikes. But I think that was the main topics that I wanted to discuss. James Peoples is also out there, so. And I know you keep talking about Jeremiah Smith going elsewhere. He's not. He's a lock.
That boy knows wide open to anybody who call him. Oh, DJ? Yeah, no, I'm down in Gainesville, bro. Dylan? Yeah, coming on down to Alice, bro. K-Love? Yeah, no, I'm coming out to Southern Cal next weekend, bro. Don't even worry about it. I think Coach say all I got to do is call him, and I'm good. You feel me?
I think he might like the attention of it all. He's having fun with it. I think he's a lock, though. Where else are you going to go that's going to give you the elite receiver
somebody
development?
Who's already named a starting quarterback, maybe.
Just by the time he comes.
Go figure. By the time he comes, so at the start of fall camp, you'll already have a starter?
Actually, maybe not, because if, Kyle McCord is great, like we all expect him to be. He does a one and done, and then,
he's so great. He's already won the starting job. Oh, no, he hasn't.
That's also a joke, but.
Interesting. CJ Stroud had already won the job over Kyle McCord by now.
Yeah. No, he did.
And if we're still expecting to have, every quarterback around there, head coach has been a Heisman finalist, so. Okay.
It's very possible that Devin Brown is just also great. So then you got two great players.
Obviously, that's a possibility. But we keep looking for all of these anecdotal connections to what has been for Ohio State. We ignoring what's different. The fact that y'all had bona fide studs walking in, well, for the most part, at least guys that you were confident that were bona fide studs going into some of these situations. You went from Barrett to 12 gauge to back to Barrett to fucking Haskins to Fields to Stroud. Right? Like that's an unimaginable run, but math would just tell you at some point there's going to be a dip. And I would say the clearest sign to there being a dip is a first-time starter who can't earn a starter job.
Literally
outright in the spring, like all the other quarterbacks before him.
The only math that I saw on that is that none of them were white. So now we got
so now you got two white quarterbacks, and you need to think about it a little bit longer.
We got two great white quarterbacks. You need to mull it over more. So it's like, which one do we choose?
We got these white boys now. Now we got to think a little bit harder. Like, what?
That's it. That's the only math that I've seen.
That's trash. Let's talk about these trash ass schedules.
Yeah, no, scheduling seems to be changing within the Big Ten, obviously with the addition of the USC and UCLA additions to the Big Ten. Mm-hmm. So the worst part of it for me is the whole protected rivalry situation, which obviously you can't not protect the Ohio State-Michigan game. But then us not having Penn State as a protected rivalry, and so
you're
literally the only USC one we got
next year.
The only one we got is Michigan. Meanwhile, you guys got like 3.
But here's we had 2. We had Michigan State and Ohio State.
I thought you guys had USC too. No,
but that's not a protected rivalry. We're going to be on 2 years, off 2 years with USC.
Oh, I thought it was a protected rivalry.
The thing you want to know the gist of why they didn't do divisions is because all of the Big Ten teams wanted it to be so that they only had to go out to California once a year. All of them. Y'all, if you are going to capitulate to that type of demand from the existing teams in your conference, why in the fuck would you add 2 teams from the Southern California market? Why would you add 2 teams from the Southern California market if you are going to allow the members of your conference currently to strong arm you into only having one of those games a year, do they only have to play Rutgers or Maryland once a year? Or do they have to play both of them if you're in the East? What the fuck are we doing? And it's so convoluted. Like they said they gave the schools the option to protect their rivals. But really what they did is that they juxtaposed protecting your rivalries versus protecting your schedule. Some teams protected their historic rivalries, Michigan, Ohio State. Other teams protected their future schedules. Mm-hmm. James Franklin and Penn State's AD essentially set themselves up to only have to deal with half of the top 4 teams of the Big Ten any given year. So in the years that they're not playing Ohio State at Michigan, because neither one of those are protected rivalries for them, they get to play USC and UCLA. But then, or sorry, not even both of those teams, just one of those teams, because they don't have to take a trip out to California twice in a year.
Well, plus UCLA is not, I wouldn't think they were a top team or will be a top team.
I would say they're top 5. So if Penn State's not including themselves as a top 4 team, the next closest team will probably be UCLA, right? I mean, they're the closest right now.
I think USC is definitely a top team.
Right. It's Ohio State, Michigan, USC, Penn State, and then after Penn State, it's probably UCLA.
You don't think Wisconsin's better than, or will be
right
better?
Right now, maybe will be, but today UCLA is better.
Or Iowa?
UCLA is better.
UCLA ended the season top 25, but it was like 20 to 25 somewhere.
I mean, I watched a lot of UCLA games last year. I watched the Utah game. I watched the USC game. They were all of them nail biters. The Oregon game, nail biters. Like
no, they were definitely
a formidable
good team last year. I just don't know. At the very least, they won't be one of the top teams consistently. But maybe
I don't know
maybe they might be.
I don't know. My point is that that Penn State gets to avoid them. They are a blue blood program. They are an old program. They are going to have a sizable recruiting footprint where they are. Like they're going to be somebody that you have to contend with, whether they're a plus, above average or not, because they'll have talent, especially while Chip Kelly is there. My thing is that. Again, yeah, you got to either protect your rivalries or protect your schedule. If you gave up the ideas of rivalries, now you're not guaranteed to play the top dogs at any given moment. Yeah. Ohio State and Michigan are every single year. Every goddamn year. And then they'll have years like for Michigan, for instance. First of all, don't ever say anything to me about our schedule ever again. It was weird that y'all were saying something about it for these 2 years. Because we traditionally always play somebody out of conference. We went on the road and played Kyle Whittingham in Utah, Jim Harbaugh's first year. We went out to Utah and played Kyle Whittingham in Utah. I don't want to hear that shit anymore. Because in 2024, we've got Texas, we've got Ohio State, we've got Wisconsin, we've got USC, all on the schedule. Shut up. Don't say nothing to us. Go holla at Alabama.
Or any SEC. Georgia specifically.
But in that same year, Penn State does not play Michigan, does not play Ohio State, does not play USC. They don't play the top 3 teams in the conference next year.
In 2024?
Yeah. I know they don't play Ohio State or Michigan for sure.
Oh, I'm not checking that. I want to also check what their non-conference schedule would be.
Oh, I don't know. I have no clue.
They're playing Auburn again. They've got West Virginia, Bowling Green, Kent State.
West Virginia, Bowling Green, Kent State, Miss Michigan, Miss Ohio State. Check me on the USC.
It looks like, according to this, they have Ohio State and USC.
Next year?
In 2024.
So they play Ohio State, but they're just not a protected rivalry. What about 2025?
Checking it now. Okay. 2025, their non-conference is Nevada, Villanova.
Why do we go from 2023 to 2025?
No, the first one was 2024.
Oh, my bad. Okay.
So they've got Nevada, Villanova, and no other non-conference?
Maybe they had an open slot.
but they've got Michigan, and they got USC and UCLA.
What?
Let's try a different website.
That doesn't sound right. I thought we didn't play them anymore. Thought we were going to be 2 years on, 2 years off. We definitely don't play them. Well, we play them next year.
2024, they've got Ohio State and USC. In 2025, they've got Michigan and USC and UCLA. Michigan and USC would be away, and then UCLA will be out.
So they play Michigan in 2024 and 2025?
No, they play Michigan only in 2025. They play Ohio State 2024. And they play USC both years.
It's every other year, but they have USC both years.
Yeah.
So as long as they beat
they only
USC,
have UCLA 2025 as well.
So essentially, what I'm seeing here is in 2024, and it sounds like 2026. As long as Penn State doesn't lose to USC, they'll probably be in the Big Ten championship game.
Well, here's the crazy thing about
versus whoever
2024.
beats and wins in Ohio State, Michigan, USC 3-man race.
Okay, so 2024 is wild because they have Ohio State and USC both at home, and the rest of their games are Michigan State at home, Nebraska at home, Northwestern at home, Indiana, Purdue, Rutgers, and Wisconsin all away.
Cupcake.
That's a cupcake
Fucking
schedule.
cupcake.
That's a cupcake schedule.
That's cupcake.
Now, you're probably going to lose to Ohio State and probably USC too, but that's a cupcake schedule.
Like there's no telling when where Penn State will have a year where they'll have to play Ohio State, Michigan, and USC all in 1 year.
Yeah.
You want to know when that's going to happen for Michigan? 2024. 2024. We're going to have to play Penn State, Ohio State, USC, and Texas all in the same year. I'm sorry. You said wait. You said 2024, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jesus. Because we had a choice to protect the rivalry. I get why they didn't put a protect the rivalry in there. Because in their off years, they're going to be able to cut a contender completely out of their schedule. I don't see how this works. And just from a travel standpoint, you are going to spend so much more now as a whole.
I'm confused. I'm looking at Ohio State's, and it doesn't have Michigan in 2024. Oh, no, here it is. No, that's 2025. Okay. Oh, there it is. Home games. Okay, cool. Our schedule is pretty cake for 2024 as well. So,
do tell. Oh, yeah, because you guys don't play USC in 24, right?
Correct.
Because the only protected rival you got was us. Yeah. Why? Because you get to essentially cut a contender out of your schedule every other year if you don't protect them.
Now, 2025, we've got Michigan, we've got USC, and we've got Texas in non-conference. So,
in 2023.
2025.
2025. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good for your 2025.
But 2024, again, because we lost Washington.
It would have behooved Michigan to say to hell with Michigan State. Well, you know what? I don't even think it was Michigan State or Michigan who probably did the protection. It was probably Michigan State that protected their rivalry with Michigan.
You think so?
I absolutely think so. Who the fuck else would they do? Who else?
Oh, yeah, no.
And they make more money off that game than they probably do any other game of the year.
That's fair. So win or lose, they still go.
They still come up. They need that game.
Tuck coming.
But what I was saying about travel is if you cut it, you have a countrywide map now. It's unavoidable for there to be some extensive travel. You made your conference coast to coast.
Mm-hmm.
Deal with it as it is.
Yeah.
Cut that hoe in half and make sure that the middle teams only have to go to the coast of one direction. Tell me why it makes sense, right? We don't want to have to go to Southern Cal more than 1 year. Oh, really? Then tell me, Iowa, would you rather go to Southern Cal and then turn around the next week and go to College Park, Maryland? And go to that time zone?
Or New Jersey?
Why is it any better to go east to a different time zone than it is to go west to another time zone?
Now, I'll be fair. I think New Jersey is closer to Iowa, but it's not like it's...
I'd be willing to put some money on that. I'd be willing to put some money on that. I think they're about equal distance. I think they're comparable.
I guess I just meant even if it's where is it? Des Moines?
Des Moines, Iowa to Piscataway, New Jersey. That can't be any more like price saving than
1,097 miles.
1,097
to.
We
LA.
under. We're under.
To
I know
LA?
we under. We're definitely under from Des Moines, Iowa to Los Angeles.
1,683 miles.
Shit. Okay. So about 500 miles off.
Yeah.
About 500 miles off.
But I would think if you're taking a plane to both of them,
500 miles is 20 minutes. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know how that works. It's comparable though.
Yeah, it's not anything crazy.
It's
for 1,100
yards versus 1,500. 1,100 miles versus 1,500 miles or 1,600 miles.
And Nebraska would be closer.
I'm just saying, man. How does that? It doesn't help you at all, and you're spending the same amount of money. At least it makes more sense if all the teams that are closer to Southern California, or at least if you make a line down the middle of the country, they're on the half that's closer to Southern California than they are to everything going on over here. Even if you add more teams, let's say you add Miami and you add Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
Notre Dame West, Miami East. Like, you're going to have some sort of geographical setup that makes travel less expensive. It's like there's nobody watching the money here.
Yeah. Nobody's
watching the money. Everybody's trying to keep the money. Everybody's trying to make sure the players don't get more of the money. But nobody's watching how the money is being spent. This is how Disney got in trouble, y'all. Y'all better fucking watch out.
Yo.
Ain't nobody watching how the money getting spent, man. Seriously, that is something to consider. Jet fuel ain't cheap. It's not. Flying all these chartered flights. Man, I would not be surprised if you see some of these teams flying commercial. Because it is going to get even more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
These planes and shit ain't getting cheaper.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. But between the kind of strategic lining or the kind of political playing here with the schedule making and then the kind of nonsensical geographical setup that we have for this conference right now, I don't think this is tenable. I don't think it's going to last. I think ultimately we're going to end up with a different model that gives a little bit more regularity in scheduling. Mm-hmm. Because it has to be that way. You have to be able to account for the travel schedule more than you do the playing schedule. The playing schedule kind of works itself out. The traveling schedule is the thing that's going to cost you dollars and cents.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. At the very least, I will be excited to see at least one of those teams, probably UCLA, play Ohio State. Or I want to see Ohio State at UCLA because I would go to that, considering UCLA doesn't buy their own home tickets.
I might just go to the USC game because we're going to be at the Coliseum in 2024.
Yeah.
I might go see that one. Caleb Williams ain't going to be there no more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't mind going to LA to see a game. Make a whole little trip out of it.
But you know what? Somehow I feel like LA is kind of like Vegas, in which I really don't understand why Vegas keeps trying to do sports. Like, they're trying to get a baseball team now. Fam, nobody pays attention to sports in Vegas. There are a shit ton. Let me say this. There are a shit ton of not just football fans, but specifically Raiders fans in Vegas. Ain't nobody paying attention to football. Ain't nobody going to Allegiant. First of all, it's all in the bumfuck part of the strip. That's number one. But then it's like, why would I sit down here in this stadium for 2.5 hours in this hot ass sun when I got all of this I could be doing? I can be in a casino right now sipping a Mai Tai
valuable gambling
for free.
Time.
Yeah. I can watch this game on a 200-foot television screen and air conditioning, getting free drinks.
I was just about to say, getting free drinks as opposed to $20 beers.
What would I be fighting this traffic, dealing with all kind of unruly
and
drunk
the casino
people.
has the game on.
No, it's just one of those towns where like there's so much to do.
Yeah.
In Los Angeles, like why would we be sitting down watching football right now?
LA,
it's kind of how they feel.
Whoever likes USC in LA likes USC.
But see, they don't. USC has terrible attendance.
Dude,
They have
I know
god-awful
UCLA
attendance.
does.
They both do. They have god awful attendance because again, it's Southern California. We out surfing, eating sushi, fam. We ain't watching football.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I don't know.
So like,
That's why I feel like tickets will probably be
cheap. That's what we gonna get to go to LA for the cheapie and see a football game because they don't care about it out there.
Absolutely.
Hopefully the Big Ten doesn't do anything to change that. Leave them alone. They got cheapy seats. Leave them cheapy.
At least for the first 2 years.
Sheesh. I have a prediction actually.
Oh.
It won't be 2023, obviously, because it's the current model and we're doing still a 4-team playoff. 2024 and 2025, I predict one of those years for there to be a 3-way tie for the Big Ten. And them having to go to some obscure rule or some other auxiliary record from opponents or from themselves, maybe conference or division.
Kind of like
or
what
whatever.
they did when there was a 4-way tie in the West.
Sure. It'll be some kind of rule that figures it out. But I guarantee you, in these first 2 years, we will have some sort of controversial finish at the end of the Big Ten race. I guarantee it. Their teams are positioning themselves for the title game now that they've taken the divisions down for the time being. Because I do not think it'll last like this. It's too convoluted.
Yeah.
It's too many teams. It's not structured enough. And it seems like the money's going to bleed from this situation a little bit too much from the people who are watching the money.
Will it matter as much when there's a 12-team playoff?
I think that's when it'll matter the most. Because, all right, look at it this way. It's 12 slots, right? The first 4 slots go to the conference champions.
Yeah.
The highest rated conference champions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There are 5 Power 5 conferences. So that leaves one of the at-large bids most likely to the remaining Power 5 conference champion that doesn't get the at-large bid.
Yes.
So now that's 5. We got 7 slots left.
Mm-hmm.
You would assume the conference runner-up from the first 4 to take up those first those next couple of spots.
So now we're at 9.
That's 4. So we got 3 more spots. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You've got conference championships and the conference champions in the at-large. You most likely have whatever remaining conference champion didn't make the at-large in that 5 spot. And then you have the runner-ups in those next 4. You have 3 slots left.
One is probably going to be given to a group of 5 teams.
Exactly.
Like Cincinnati.
Now you got 2 slots left. Who's the most favorite conference is probably going to be the next contender at that point. It's not usually the Big Ten.
It's usually SEC.
We're going to get the same 2 teams into the playoff every year, even though we've expanded it to 12 because of how they structured their conference schedule.
We're going to get an SEC team, and then we're going to get Notre Dame.
Because here's the at least how I'm thinking about it. Here's the advantage to splitting it up in divisions this way if you do it that way. Now, instead of it just being your conference champions and then the runner-ups that get considered, now you got a team with Penn State that maybe didn't go to the Big Ten championship that's sitting there at 11-1. Now you're much more attractive. You've been sitting on the West. You weren't the West representative, so you don't get maybe that 5 or 6, but you'll slide in at maybe 7, 8, 9, 10 because you're 11-1, and you'll beat out a group of 5 team, or you'll beat out somebody who finished 3rd or 4th in the Big 12 or the Pac. Because you kind of get to if you don't make it to the championship game, you get to protect your record. You get to protect your 11-1. You get to protect your 10-2 by not having to take another game or lose in a conference championship, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not good enough to actually make it there, you get to protect your record and hopefully make one of those backslides. Well, if you 10-2 and you don't make a conference championship now, or if you 9-3 and you don't make a conference championship,
your season, well,
it's done.
You'll end up in a high bowl game.
High bowl game, but you probably won't end up in a playoff.
Oh wait, no, the bowl games are going to be.
They were better.
Playoff.
They were, well, not all of them. They'll still have bowl games.
Sure.
They were better off designating who they were going to play so that they could have guarantee games. All right, bet. We know we got USC, Michigan, Ohio State on the schedule. We win 2 out of 3 of those, we go to the playoff. But with you ducking and dodging some of the best in your conference every other year and allowing them to beat everybody else, they're going to be there, but they're not on your schedule. And if you aren't good enough to make it to the conference championship game, you won't have a chance to dethrone them and take their spot. Because they're not on your schedule every other year. Oh, we got USC on the schedule. Well, they're not top dog this year. Fuck. Well, all right, well, we got Michigan next year. Oh, they're not top dog now. Now it's USC. You see how you fucked yourself? If you don't play the top dog in this model, you don't have a chance to make it to the dance.
Yeah.
If you try to sit back and play in obscurity, you're going to get drowned out at the end because of what we just explained. Mm-hmm. Conference champs, then conference runner-ups. By the time you get to the at-large section, that shit's going to be, there's going to be very little room. And then what does your resume look like at that point when you're doing that? When you're hopping in and out of competition every other year? Without protected rivals versus teams that you know the committee is going to respect.
Yeah. Recruiting don't look too hot for you after that too, so
I'm just saying.
Snowball effect.
But that's it. Give us your thoughts on everything we discussed here today. Put it in the comments below. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Come back every week for another House Divided episode.
Absolutely, and make sure that you check out our live video. I don't know if that's going to come out before this or after this.
Yeah, no, we will be doing a live
prediction on Ohio State, Michigan.
We'll be talking about everything that's kind of transpired in the offseason, how everybody's feeling. We'll get Chris on for minutes 2. We'll get Johnny on. We'll have it out for sure. I think this is going to come out after.
I think it is too. So if you haven't seen it,
go catch it on the replay. There you go.
Absolutely. And make sure you subscribe. We'll be talking about more college football throughout the season.